will be going to learn about this operant conditioning or operant learning. So operant conditioning argues that the behavior is the function of its consequences. So people, they learn to behave to get something they want or to avoid something that they don't want. So operant behavior means voluntary or learned behavior in contrast to the reflexive or unlearned behavior. So the tendency to repeat such behavior is influenced by the reinforcement or lack of reinforcement brought about by the consequences of the behavior. So therefore, a reinforcement will strengthen the behavior and increases the likelihood that will be repeated. So this operant conditioning is a method of learning that occurs through rewards and punishment for a behavior. The true operant conditioning, an individual, they make an association between the particular behavior and the consequence. So B.F. Skinner, he is a Harvard psychologist. He is regarded as the father of this operant conditioning. And his work was based on Thorndike law effect. It was developed in the year 1898. So according to this principle, the behavior that is followed by the pleasant consequences is likely to be repeated, and the behavior that is followed by the unpleasant consequences is less likely to be repeated. So now I will explain what you mean by Thorndike law effect. So this will help to understand the operant learning theory in detail. So Thorndike, he made an experiment to learn how new skill was developed. So that's a question we began to fascinate Thorndike to answer. He built a genius puzzle box. So in which, so this is the puzzle box, here it is the puzzle box. So in which the cat could escape by operating the latches. So Thorndike believed that the clever cat understands the consequences of the behavior. So when he placed the cat in the puzzle box for the first time, so Thorndike was unable to notice or see any evidence of flashes of insect. So the successful action has been appeared by chance. He proved that the apparent cleverness arises by trial and error method, and he used a graph to measure the rate of learning. A well-practiced cat quickly recalls the action that helps to escape to have the food. So if the action brings the reward, Thorndike believed that the bad action will be jammed back into the mind. So in this experiment, he explained further the ideas about the learning. The behavior changes because of its consequences. So he called this law of effect, which explains how the new habits were developed. So Skinner introduced a new term, the law of effect, that is reinforcement. So behavior which is reinforced tends to be repeated. That is, it will be those behavior will be strengthened. And behavior that which is not reinforced tends to die out or to be extinguished. That is, it will be weakened. So in this table, can able to yes, for example, the operant line, the stimulus presented or withdrawn. If it is presented, the desirability of the stimulus is pleasant. The name of the contingency is it is a positive reinforcement. And here the strength of the response, it will get increased. Here the example, the praise from the supervisor encourage continually the praised behavior. For example, if you are doing some work and if you are getting a proper appreciation from your superior or the supervisor, so it will encourage or it will motivate you to work well further. So here it is said with a positive reinforcement. And the next is unpleasant, that is the punishment. So here the name of the contingency is the punishment. So here the strength of the response will get decreased. And here the example, criticism from the supervisor discourage enacting the punishment behavior. For example, whatever the work you do, if you get some criticism from your supervisor or your higher official, if they discourage you, whatever the work you do, if they point out some mistake in that, so it will discourage and it will enhancing the punishment behavior. You will be demotivated. So the first one, if somebody is if somebody appreciate you, you will be motivated. But in this case, if you are getting some criticism from a supervisor or a subordinate or any other or a manager, so it will discourage and it enhance the punishment behavior. So next one is the withdrawn. So in this, the desirability of stimulus is pleasant. The name of the contingency is extinction. The strength of the response will decrease. That is, failing to praise a helpful act reduce the odds of helping in future. For example, if you are helping somebody for doing something, so if they should at least they should say thanks. If you didn't receive any feedback from them, so it will reduce the odds of helping them in future. If they does not respond if they does not show any response for the work that the help that you have done to them, so it will reduce the odds of helping them in the future. And next one is the disability of stimulus is unpleasant. So here the name of the contingency is the negative reinforcement. The strength of the response increase. The further criticism is avoided by doing whatever the supervisor wants. So here the example, the further criticism, it will be avoided by doing whatever the supervisor wants. So Skinner, he had identified three types of responses or operant that can follow a behavior. The first one is the neutral operant. So response from the environment that neither increase or decrease the probability of behavior that is being repeated. Second one is the reinforces the response from the environment that increase the probability of behavior that is being repeated. Here the reinforcers can be either positive or negative. The third one is the punisher response from the environment that decrease the likelihood of behavior that is being repeated. The punishment weakens the behavior. It is known as the operant condition. So next we will be learning about the social learning theory. So in this social learning theory, individuals they also learn by observing their models whom they admire. So much of what we have learned so far comes from watching our models like parents, teachers, peers, supervisors, motion pictures as well as the television. Thus, the learning through both observation and direct experience is called the social learning theory. So usually the influence the model will have in individual is determined by the following four processes. The first one is attention process. So in this attention process, people can learn from the models provided they recognize and pay attention to a critical feature. For example, while doing a practical, your teacher will come and demonstrate the experiment. So you will be closely monitoring what your teacher is doing or what steps they are adopting to get a final result. So attention process, people learn from their model. So you will be closely watching how your teacher is doing the experiment, how she is demonstrating you the experiment. So in the second one is the retention process. The model influence depends on how well the individual can remember or retain in memory the behavior or action displayed by him or her when the model is no linearly level. So your teacher will demonstrate the experiment and you will closely monitoring it and you will retain all those things in your memory. You will get all those things in your memory. And once a particular model, here the model refers to the teacher, once the particular model is no longer available, so you will be retaining those things from your memory. It is the retention process. So here the next one is the motor reproduction process. Now the individual needs to convert the model action in his or her action. So once the teacher was not there, she will ask you to do. She will demonstrate the experiment, and she will ask you to do the experiment. Now the teacher is not there, and now you are retaining those things from your memory, what your teacher had told. So you will be converting, in this step, you will be converting the model action into your own action. It is said to be the motor reproduction process. And the next one is the reinforcement process. So in this step, the individuals, they become motivated to display the modeled action if incentives and rewards are provided to them. For example, you are working with a practical, and if you are getting a good result, correct result, if your teacher motivates you, if the teacher appreciates you, then you will be motivated and you will be try to work continuously in a good working manner. So similarly in an organization, if an individual gets motivated for the task that he or she had done, so he or she will be motivated, if in the form of incentive or reward.